What's up, guys? This is Manafest, and you're listening to the I'm a Fighter podcast, episode number 14.
It's too late, it's my fate, I can't turn around. There's no fear in the mirror to hold.
What's going on, guys? Back in the studio in Southern California, 2014, March, when you're listening to this, where we entertain, inspire, and educate the I'm a Fighter podcast. Dudes, I am so stoked right now. I'm blown away. I'm freaking out. Why? Because I'm a dad. I just had a child. London Grace Greenwood, drum roll please. 8 pounds, 3 ounces, smooth delivery. Couldn't be more blessed and stoked. You know, the doctor's totally cool, nurses totally cool, and just so blessed, man. You know, I cried and just didn't even realize what was gonna happen, you know. And I think it's day 3. We've been home right now, and I'm actually getting some sleep. I got a good night rest last night. Wanted to make sure that I'm, on point when recording this. But talk about falling in love with my baby girl, man. Like, just so beautiful. My wife is good, strong, and just really learning and growing, and I'm gonna have to take some swaddling lessons. For those that you don't know what that is, it's when you wrap your baby with a blanket so they're nice and snug and feel like they are in the womb. And so that is totally awesome and just blessed. So this is a new chapter, man. I am never gonna be the same again. And just, wow, talk about purpose and just something even more to live for. And it's just something that has to be experienced to explain, in my opinion. So what else have I been doing? Well, the album is cranking along, kind of. We actually got some of the tracks in mastering, which is good. Once the songs are mixed, then we get them mastered so that they're nice and hot and all equalized and all the same levels. And then there's 2 songs I am just finishing off with my buddy Adam, and those are going to be done. Hopefully I'm going to get in early next week up to LA and record those and finish those off, and then we are done. And I am stoked because the campaign is rocking. As of right now, we are at 40% of our goal because you guys are awesome. We released this really cool item. Okay, talk about where tech, music, and skateboard meets. We created these little mini 1 gig USB keys shaped in a skateboard shape. And it says Manafest on it with the new logo, and it just looks sick. And it's got the new album and some bonus songs on there, so you can check that out. And because we hit 40% of the goal, that means we release another free bonuses. Not only do you get the Fighter audiobook, the ebook, you get the Avalanche EP, but we're also giving away the Overboard song and the Overboard remix. And that's a big deal because I wasn't sure whether we were going to include Overboard on the album because that wasn't on Fighter. And it was just released as a single, but I don't really think the album sounds like Overboard as much, and we're thinking of putting it on as a bonus or something like that on the CD, but I thought, hey, let's just give it away for free to the people that pledge and just hook that up. And I don't even think the Overboard remix is out, so that's the only way you can get that. So pledge $10 or more. Just go to manifest.net and check that out. So let's jump into today's podcast topic, why talent isn't enough. You guys know my story. If you don't, I'm going to tell you it quickly right now. When it came to skateboarding, because I started to skateboard before I got into music, I sucked. I was terrible. I wasn't really that good. I was kind of goofy on the board, but I kept at it, and I kept skateboarding. I kept practicing and trying, and eventually I got good. But have you ever seen somebody who's just really gifted at something? It's like they're just a natural. Like, it's just like they're born with it. I had a friend named Rick who it was like the board was just locked to his feet. And I'll never forget meeting him out front of the GO train station before we took the train downtown. And he was doing a few flip tricks and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, these guys are cool or whatnot. And so we're like, hey, we just met him right there at the train station. We're like, hey, do you guys want to skate? You guys are going downtown too? Okay, cool. And we started skating, and it was like the board was stuck to the guy's feet, and it was like it was just effortless for him. And I don't know about you, but it's just like I'm trying so hard to do the same tricks, and it's like I got to put in 10 times the amount of work to get good at something. And for him, it's like it just comes so natural. It's just so like at ease. I'm sure someone has experienced something like that. Maybe even in hockey or some sport, it's just like, someone is just flowing in it, flowing in it. And you know what? A lot of the times there is a natural talent that just comes with something. But what I've come to realize that has to be nurtured. Okay, I've seen it with tons of skaters and guys that, yes, had the natural ability and they were really good. And you know what? They probably should have gone pro. They should have blown up. But other issues came in the way. And then I noticed the guys that weren't as talented. I know another guy who ended up becoming pro because he had 4 or 5 of these keys that I want to talk about. And some of them are very related to the fighter book. And one is perseverance. To not quit when the going gets rough and you're not, seeing results right away, but you keep pushing. And a second one is drive. What I've noticed with people that really get good at stuff is that they don't go home right away. Whether you're in the studio, whether you're on the baseball field, you're at the skateboard park, whatever, when everybody else has gone home, you're still there working away, cranking away because you love it. I remember in high school, skateboarding was such a big deal. And I brought a snow shovel to school and shoveled the parking lot because I wanted to skate during the winter. And when it was just, I made a little spot so I could skate. And people made me thought I was like a geek and just like, this guy's crazy. But I wanted to get good at this. And no, I didn't come pro or anything like that. But I knew for me, it wasn't just coming naturally. I had to really work at it. I had to really discipline myself, which is another key, to get good at something because, you're born with the talent and there's something, but that gift has to be nurtured. You got to build it up. You got to persevere and you got to have that drive that keeps going. I noticed even this with music. There's some guys, like when I started rapping, that were way better rappers than me, way better singers than me. But you know what? Some of them didn't have these keys, which is perseverance. They didn't want to keep going. When it wasn't just fun anymore and it became work, they quit. Some didn't have discipline to keep writing. I spent New Year's Eve alone one year. I spent so many nights by myself just practicing and writing and writing and writing. And then the third is drive. Some of them just didn't have drive. They didn't want it bad enough. Sometimes you got to want it. Yes, you can have the talent, but you got to want it. You have to want it. And another key is like, you got to be enthusiastic, man. You got to be stoked about this. You got to be enjoying it and having fun. Like, I was skating when I was in high school. I wanted to become pro and all this stuff. And I'm still skating now because I get stoked, man. I'm skating around my block doing a big fat 180 and just love the way it feels. And it's just like, I'm stoked, And then another reason why talent isn't enough is because not only do you have talent, sometimes when the going gets rough, especially if it comes to like you're doing this like for a career or something, you got to have purpose. And sometimes people will want fame, they'll want success, they'll want money, but sometimes it's got to be greater than that. You got to have a bigger purpose. And, for me, it's about putting a message out there and changing lives. And ultimately, it's God in my life wanting to just do something great. Everything I do because I want to share God's love, and make a difference in the world. But sometimes talent is just not enough, and you gotta have more than that. Because I've seen so many guys that had, the talent and the ability, but they didn't do anything with it. And that's probably the most saddest thing is when you see someone that's just, they got so much talent and ability, and it's just like, dude, you could be crushing it, but they just don't really care. They just don't want it bad enough, or they don't have the discipline. They don't have the drive like I'm talking about. It's just like, oh man, you could be doing like so great. And so, yes, talent isn't, enough. And I hope that encourages you because maybe you're like frustrated and you're like, yeah, man, I'm not that talented at this. But you know what? It's not always about the most talented, the most smartest. It's about those that don't give up and those that stay when everybody else has gone home. Look at it when if someone's like, in a marathon, everybody's, running and everybody looks good at the very beginning. You know what I mean? And anyone can sprint for, 10, 15 minutes or whatever it is. But who can endure, who can have the longevity when the going does get gets tough to stick it out and keep going, because you don't need just the talent. You need the perseverance. You need the discipline. And you can build that talent. You can develop that gift. And you can build up that gift so you are strong and you can have confidence in knowing what you're doing. A long time ago, I didn't know what I was doing in music. I didn't know what I was doing in skateboarding. But now I do, and I've developed it over years. And it didn't happen overnight. But you know what? By the consistency, that should be another key, being consistent and disciplined and daily chopping away at this thing. But one of the things I wanted to share with this is, sometimes someone can have a talent or a gift and they get really successful with it. And all of a sudden they blow up. And I've seen this in skating. I've seen it in music. And all of a sudden you have this success and you have everybody, calling out your name and you're great and you're awesome. And then the success destroys them. Sometimes success can be the worst thing that can happen to someone because all of a sudden, drugs get in there, alcohol, girls, and all of a sudden you destroy that what you were trying to build and you lost your focus, because you weren't focused anymore. And all of a sudden, you got this fame or you got this money and then that's taking over and you're just looking at that. And then this talent that you were gifted with is kind of like ripped out of your hands. I've seen dudes that, had millions that were so successful in the music industry and then they just blew it all away and they're broke. You see it even sometimes with a lot of these, sports stars and celebrities. They get this success and they do so great with this awesome talent, and then it gets destroyed and taken away because of the poor decisions they make. I kind of look at it, someone once said, was just like, it's not about how much money you can earn, it's how much money you can keep afterwards. And I'm not talking about hoarding and being a miser, but I'm talking about sometimes people will brag or they say, oh, I'm making this amount of money and this and this. Well, how are you long term with that? Like developing that over a long period of time. How much of it have you actually keep and built to have a foundation to bless other people? I don't want to dive into that, but the point I'm trying to make is sometimes the success that we have from the talents we are giving can destroy us and be the worst thing. And I used to get frustrated, and I think I talked about this a little bit in the Fighter book, is that it's easy to want to compare other people to where I'm at and be frustrated where I'm at because I'm not where they are, but it's important for me to be content, and not let that success destroy me. Because sometimes I'd be like, oh, I wish I was there. But I remember God speaking to me so clearly, Chris, you wouldn't be able to handle the success that I've put on you now. Way back then, it would have destroyed you, bro. That's why your character needs to be built up, and your purpose and your drive, and just really have integrity in certain things so it doesn't destroy you. And I was just like, whoa, man, like it's true. I might not have been ready for it. So maybe you're in a frustrating place right now and you're like, man, I want to work on this thing. I want to grow. I want to be here, but I'm only here right now, but I see myself there. Well, you know what, man? Stick at it. Have that patience, keep persevering, keep having that discipline, and know that it's not only talent, but you need these other things to keep driving and keep pushing you so that you can make it. And so you can accomplish great things. I want to share a quote with you. It's a book I'm reading right now by Norman Vincent Peale. I think I might have talked about this the other day, but it's like an old school book, and it's called Enthusiasm Makes the Difference. And I heard it said one time, this guy left this thing on his office wall that says, get enthusiastic within 10 seconds or get out. And it's just talking about having a joy at whatever it is you're doing. And I think that's so important because, again, when it came to skating, when it came to music or whatever it is I'm doing, when I want to get better at it, sometimes there's that threshold you got to push through, and you can get frustrated at times. But if you keep enthusiastic and you keep your joy, you're just going to be stoked the whole time while you're doing it. And he says in here, Norman Vincent Peale, he says, there are two kinds of tension. There's the good type, which puts direct drive into a person. And then there's the bad type, which shakes a man to pieces. And so he's talking about the tension there. And you want, yes, a little bit of tension to drive you forward so that puts like a lift in someone's spirit to go after it. But you don't want that type of tension that's stressing you out and shakes you to pieces. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that totally inspires you guys there. I have some special news. We're going to start switching up the podcast. I'm already starting to reach out to some people that I'm going to start getting featured on the podcast as interviews. I'm not going to announce the special guests yet, but I'm reaching out to some people. But I am reaching out to you. I want to hear your questions and feature your question on this show. If you go to speakpipe.com/manifest and you start by saying your name and where you're from and ask a question that is less than 90 seconds, I may feature it on this show. So go to speakpipe.com/manifest and check that out and leave me a message, man. I want to start featuring you guys on the show and hearing what you want me to talk about and stuff, and have just you guys a part of this show, man, because I'm doing this for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And hey, if you haven't yet, go to imafighter.net and pick up the Fighter book. If you haven't, it will inspire you. It will encourage you. I talk about the 5 keys to conquering fear, because that totally mashed me up when I was a kid. But when I figured that out, man, did it ever make a difference. 2 Timothy 1:7, I wasn't born with a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And I believe that for you guys. Well, hey, I want to remind you that a fighter isn't someone that never fails. A fighter is someone that never quits. I love you guys. This is my song, Overboard Remix.
I hear you calling out, our ship is going down. We're sinking and I can't let you go. I couldn't understand, you wouldn't take my hand. I watched you fall into the ocean below. It's a fight to survive, do or die, and to keep it alive. We gotta wake up, we gotta save us. So baby, hang on, I'm coming after you. I'm diving overboard. Any moment we can lose it. I'm jumping in for you. I'm diving overboard. SOS. I'm diving overboard. Off the edge. I'm diving overboard. I'm diving overboard. I'm diving overboard. It's all or nothing now. It's time we figure out, or we'll be going back and forth to the end. Every time we touch, we fall right back in love, just to break apart like waves in the wind. Out of breath, ship is wrecked in distress, but we'll fight for what's left. We gotta wake up, we gotta save us. So baby, hang on, I'm coming after you. I'm diving overboard. Any moment we can lose it. I'm jumping in for you. I'm diving overboard. 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 Rushing out, coming now. Take my hand, I'm reaching down. Don't let go, I'll get you home.